Speaking of things that taste great, we went to Wetherspoons, and it was Alex's and mine.
It was your first
experience at Spoons.
Yeah. Is Wetherspoons like a worldwide thing?
Know if it's
I think it's just
or is it
an
quite
English
a British
thing?
thing?
But what
Yeah,
Wetherspoons,
that makes sense. Sorry, go ahead. Explain.
Wetherspoons is this like it's a chain of pubs, but it's hard to even call them pubs. Yeah, they're every English person knows what a Spoons is. They're so fucking shit.
They're ubiquitous with our culture.
Well, I mean, we've always known of Wetherspoons.
Of
like
course.
we'd never been in one, but we knew what it was.
Yeah,
And it's like it's well known because it's like the place you go to on a night out before you actually go on the night out, or
cheap
like
drinks.
pre's or whatever. Yeah, because it's so cheap. You can buy the drinks there are dead cheap, so it's really
yeah. That was
easy to
was
get.
the one positive I could take away from the experience. Was
Well,
like,
apart from the fact the one we went into, no draft drinks.
Yeah.
All of their taps weren't working, I guess. So
every
we could
single one,
only have
not just
bottles.
one barrel. Like
Yeah,
everyone.
every single drink on tap was a no-no.
so we could only go bottled like ciders,
Yeah,
cokes,
which was still cheap. So
really
Oh, yeah.
cheap, and I appreciate it. But they also sell food.
What's a restaurant?
It's a restaurant, and obviously I've worked in recruiting for these places, and I know that it's not. There's no ovens. They only thing they have is microwaves. All the food is done like from a packet into a microwave.
but the thing is, like, there is good microwavable food out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Ready meals.
Yeah, there are some good ass ready meals if you know where to look.
Yeah.
However, whichever ones they're using at Wetherspoons,
Fucking
they're like
hell.
Asda's Basics or something.
They're more like
are
Iceland.
Awful.
Oh, Iceland.
Because when I was younger, I went to Wetherspoons quite often. It was like, oh, it's my birthday, let's go to Wetherspoons. Like, I was a fucking stupid kid, okay? And then recently I went back after like a 10-year like break from Wetherspoons.
Yeah.
I went there in the morning with my parents. I bought a full English breakfast, which is like £3. It's like unbelievably cheap.
It's crazy cheap.
And it's just like got the sausage. It's got everything you expect, and it is like barely passable for the money. It's just like this is okay. And then I got pancakes, and it's just like, and I got pizza because they started adding like these fresh, ready like
Yeah.
pizzas, and the pizzas are just they're the best thing on the menu, and they are bad.
Yeah, so when we went there in the evening, you had an all-day breakfast.
A vegan one,
You had a
actually.
vegetarian.
Yeah. Let's I really want to paint like a detailed picture of this experience. So before we talk about the food, I want to describe what the sort of mise en scene of the pub is like.
Jeez.
So you like walk in. This is the one in Chippenham, if anyone listening knows that. The Spoons in Chippenham. Fairly nice building, no problems with that.
It's a
by the
generally nice
river.
building.
You walk in and you're like, oh, it's just a pub, isn't it? It's just a pub. Whatever.
More of a restaurant vibe than a pub.
Yeah, but you see the bar and you're like, oh, well, it looks like it doesn't look like ghetto or anything like that. It looks alright.
No.
And then everything sort of started to fall apart. Like you go sit down,
No, before we even got to the door, it was falling apart because right on the door it said, "Yeah, there's no
Oh
draft."
yeah, greeted by the
no tap,
no on
nothing.
tap drinks available. With a bit like a printed out piece of A4. Then we go and we sit down, and James informs us that you can acquire your beverages and food in Wetherspoons without actually interacting with anyone, and you can just download an app and just buy on the app, and then they just bring it over to you. So it's like, first off, it's kind of like defeating the entire point of like why pubs were so essential to like British culture for so long. It's like you go up to the bar and you order a drink and like you're forced into conversation. Nope, it's like cut that part out of it. So and then all the people that work there, of course, are just like really young teenagers that like don't give a fuck. They do not give a single fuck.
Yeah,
So
I don't know if we just got like someone on their last day or something, or their first day.
Yeah.
Like,
No, because I've heard like some of the spoons in like the big cities and stuff, London and whatnot. They're just nicer inherently, more popular. More people go there. They've got more to prove there, I suppose. So they're not, shipping them. So yeah. Once we sat down and we're just, taking it all in a little bit, we noticed no music, no sort of quiet background music, nothing. Aside from this what sounded like a ticking time bomb, just in the kitchen somewhere, just a deet, deet, like just constantly. And no one seemed to be like acknowledging it.
It wasn't quiet either, it was loud.
No, it was
really
like
loud.
Really loud.
It was like that loud. And it was so loud that when you walked out of the building, you could hear it from inside. From outside. So yeah, and then like the more you look at it, the more you're noticing like lamps just like half off
the place,
the wall. And
when I last went there, the place it doesn't look like it gets cleaned ever. Like there was tomato. Last time I went, there was one wall where there was like thick splodges of tomato ketchup just stuck on the walls, rock solid, that had obviously never been cleaned off.
Handprints all over the windows.
Like the lamps. They are falling apart. The shades are like completely hanging off, and it's just, it looks awful, really bad.
It's extremely characterless though.
Yeah,
Like,
all the personalities sapped.
yeah, like, well, just think of other big chains, like even
Green
Wagamama.
King and all of that.
Like-
Wagamama, Nando's, they got more like
When you
aesthetic
walk
stuff.
into one of them, like, although they are all the same, they are clearly going for like a style.
Yeah.
Whereas Wetherspoons is just like,
Well, they want it to be like a pub, don't they? They want it to feel like, oh, this is me local sort of thing, don't they? But it's just like,
yeah, but they can't.
doesn't work, no.
There's no character to make people like, for it to be their local. It's so dry of anything.
So we ordered the food, and as you were saying, we ordered food with the app or whatever. I ordered a vegan breakfast or something.
All day vegan breakfast.
Because I was honestly too frightened to order the meat because I didn't know what it might potentially do to me. Was all. Jim got a delicious pasta dish.
Chicken. Was it a chicken? No, it was a pasta Alfredo.
Yeah.
With a posh name in a Wetherspoons.
It was new on the menu. So.
Oh really?
And I went straight in and ordered the biggest pizza I could and chips.
So we're all spending like $5 each, basically.
Less than.
So I can see the appeal in that sense. Like if you're looking to save cash, there is a value there. But what was just like mind blowing to me was, I think Jim got served his, and it was like the person that came over, the waiter to serve. It was like a strange delivery of like food. Like,
well, we noticed them sort of wandering around the restaurant before.
And just to add,
this bowl.
Before you make the order, you have to select your table. So surely the waiting staff should know where the tables are.
Yeah. But anyway, they were walking around for a while, and then like disappeared, and then came back out, and then came to the table and said, "Are you guys waiting for food?"
Yeah.
And we were like, "Yeah."
But like that wasn't her delivery. Was very odd. Like I noticed it immediately. Like in her voice, it was like when you're really trying not to laugh. You know?
Yeah.
It was like what like, is that a question? Like what are you actually like? What is the vibe you're giving me right now? Like it was almost like,
I don't know if it was nervous laughter because like.
Yeah, I don't know. It was very
stuff,
very weird. But I noticed it the first time. I was like, oh, it must have just been a one-off thing. And then when they brought mine over, she like almost couldn't speak because she was like laughing, you know? Like she couldn't she couldn't speak properly because she was like laughing. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
When this happened, Alex I've never seen Alex break this much. He was sitting there just laughing for like 5 minutes. He'd stop and then just...
No, it was actually mind-blowing.
No, because I was like, I've heard stories about Wetherspoons, and you're telling me the first time I come in and order something, the staff completely ignore you until they come over, and they bring the laughable food over while they laugh at you for buying it, basically. They're laughing at you, like out of just pure embarrassment for everyone involved. I actually couldn't believe it. I was like, so do you want me to not eat this?
Yeah.
Do you want me to like complain? Like, what the fuck like do you want from me right now? It's such a weird like way. Like, why would you ever train or let your staff get away with that kind of shit?
Yeah.
It's like bizarre.
And then you couldn't stop laughing. Like, even 2 minutes after, you would just stop and then you'd laugh. You'd burst out laughing again, and then I was laughing, and then people were staring at
Like
us.
the worst thing was, she had to come to the table 3 times for each of our orders.
Yeah.
So like the first time there was a little bit of a laugh. The second time she was straight up laughing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And putting the food on the table, like laughing.
Laughing like this is just. I'm sorry. It was almost like an apology. Because she knew, like, this ain't anything, like, posh or nothing. You know what you're in for. Just here you go, have it. Fuck it.
And then but then weirdly, the third time, the final meal,
The fight was up.
straight-faced.
Yeah, she was over it by then.
There you go.
And then
She really tried on that one.
But then I bought pudding, which was awful. And then she walked over and she basically just threw it at me, and then the cutlery went everywhere. And it was just like
launched a spoon at you.
Yeah, it was like, for them, it was like, we got to get this over with just as soon as possible. Like, no dilly-dallying, they take the food, gone. Like, I don't want to have to interact or anything.
Yeah.
So funny. It's like a mechanical, like, process. It's so strange. So yeah, I don't think I'd eat there again, but I'd drink there.
The pizza was surprisingly
because of the price.
bad, but it's just like when you get like a 12-inch pizza for like £4 or whatever, it's like that's okay.
Yeah, they must rely on, people getting pissed, and then they get a bit hungry, and then they just order. And like when you're that pissed, like it really doesn't matter what you're eating. So
I can still taste that pizza. I don't know, I must have like put my balls on it or something, but I can still taste it, and it's not a nice taste. I'm kind of sick already from it.
I barely touched the food I ordered. I wasn't even that hungry anyway. I was just sort of I wanted to experience it.
Mine was like, I mean, if I'd have paid any more than like £4.50, I would have. I think I would have had to complain.